a love-hate relationship when you're working with buyers, and sometimes it's their way or the highway, and sometimes we play with ZipString. It's the only thing like it.
And I want a good show, damn it. Ready for a good show?
Doing awesome, yeah. I'm excited to talk to you, Angie. Thank you for having me.
Yes!
I've always been doing big into archery, and my dad said, hey, you guys want to start an archery store?
Yes, that's how it works.
Yes, of course, let's do this together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. I'm your host, Andrew Maff, and today I'm joined by the amazing Austin and Steven, who are the co-founders of ZipString. Guys, how you doing? You ready for a good show?
Doing
awesome.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Yes, super excited. Love the product, love the concept. No idea how this came to be, so very excited to hear the story. Per usual, I'll do the stereotypical thing, give you guys a second here. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, you know, where you guys started, how you got started with ZipString, and we'll kind of take it from there, okay?
Sure.
Yeah, did you want to do like background a little bit?
Just a short history, real short.
Okay. Well, my name is Steven Fazio. I love electronics and design electronics. And ZipString actually got started when I was at school at Georgia Tech. I entered into a hackathon for our robotics team, and we were supposed to design a circuit board smaller than the size of a credit card. It could do anything as long as the whole bill of materials was under $50. And so I used this inspiration. I saw this physics teacher on YouTube demonstrate this benchtop string launcher, and I thought, whoa, that would be super cool if I could compactify that, make something smaller than a circuit board. And so I actually have that prototype here. This is the first, ZipString prototype, and that's what won me the hackathon. And so I made a small batch. And then I put it on the internet, and it got some traction on TikTok. Everybody loved it. They were like, oh, where can I buy this? And then I thought to make, I was like, well, you can't buy it. It doesn't really exist yet. And so I thought to make like a Kickstarter or something, but it didn't really get rolling until I met Austin.
So
Nice segue.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm Austin Hillam. I love just engineering, working with my hands and things like that. And so between semesters, I was studying engineering at Brigham Young University in Utah. I was home in Georgia, and I met Steven at church, and he had me over, and he was showing me all his bedroom laboratory and his ZipString prototype, his string shooter, and we were just nerding out about it for the next hour of just thinking, how we could change it, how we could make it better. So I bring him over to my place, and we are currently, what you're seeing is in my parents' basement, and we start, working on a new prototype. My dad jumps in on the fun, and together we came up with this prototype, and Steven put this together. And we both, were basically sitting around the table and said, we had something awesome. We all knew we had something amazing. And so we all shared and said, Steven, you can't share this with anyone. What we have here is super awesome. Well, come to find out, Steven shortly posts a video of just this on his TikTok.
I was in my closet, like in my bedroom, and I just said, oh, look at this string launcher, super smooth, super satisfying or something. Wow, look at this. And I put on the caption, like, coming soon to Kickstarter, to see if anything would happen. I completely did not expect what came from that.
Yeah, that night, that video had 20 million views, front page of Reddit. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just it sent a ripple through the internet, and so we kept running with it. You know, launched a Kickstarter, and it was just viral video after viral video. Everyone wanted to understand how this works, and because it just is so different. And you know, we didn't really explain kind of what ZipString is. So for those that have no idea what we're talking about, ZipString is, it's like he said, a small hand device that takes a loop of string and pushes it through these motors so fast that the whole thing floats in the air. And what's so cool is that how it works is that we make the string fuzzy. And that fuzziness creates drag in the air as the string is flying, which generates a lift. So now you have a loop of string that is floating in the air and emulating all your movements. And so
That's the special thing about ZipString that nobody had seen before. Sure, you might have had like a physics demonstration,
Yeah.
some big benchtop thing, but what we had done is make it into a toy that the user can fit in the palm of their hand.
Yeah.
And that's where it's super fun, because then you can capture so many different waves and movements in the string as it's just floating in the air. It's like drawing in 3D almost.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's so interesting.
yeah,
So
it's
you created this toy. It's a very interesting invention. How did you end up making this into a business? Because clearly 7-figure business is not a small feat. So it's not obviously just a toy. You've created a pretty substantial business out of it. How did you go about doing that? How did you continue to market it and get it out there?
so you know, it's taken a lot of learning, and you know, you're riding on a roller coaster with the high peaks and then the low valleys. But um, what I think what we have is we're an innovation team. We're good at coming up ideas, and we're good at working hard. And so we just thought, we got to launch a Kickstarter. We got to get some money behind this to do the tooling and to get started, to buy you know inventory. And so
Yeah, everybody was like, "Where can I buy this? I want to buy it right now," and saying all of these like awesome things. Well, we're just kind of like, "Well, we want to see the money first." Like,
Yeah.
because you don't, it doesn't really process in your head that this like small toy could really become a business, like you're saying, especially at the like form factor that we had it in. So here I'd like to show you, when you run a Kickstarter, you want to show people a proof of concept, and this was our proof of concept
Yeah.
design. It has the enclosure, it has the wheels, and this is what we showed to everybody. But to your point, how do you make a scalable business? Because this, being a prototype, still can make a scalable business out of it. So we were just completely redoing and revising our entire product until we got to a point that we knew we could scale it, something that is reasonable to manufacture, that we can have outsourced eventually.
So as soon as we started the Kickstarter, we started looking at how could we manufacture this overseas. So as we were trying to figure that out, we designed new models, new prototypes, and we relied completely on just organic traction and growth throughout the entire time. For the first 18 months of ZipString, we didn't spend a dollar in paid media or advertising. And because we post a video and it goes viral, we post another video, goes viral. So our entire Kickstarter, that was funded completely just organically. And we're just posting on our social medias and things like that. Well, it's time to deliver the 4,000 zip strings that we sold from our Kickstarter, and overseas manufacturing was taking forever to get fired up. So what do? We bought 6 resin printers. We brought some friends in, ordered the motors and batteries and everything, and made 4,000 in house, by hand.
Yeah, and also the context of this is kind of just at the tail end of COVID, where you couldn't really reliably set up a supply chain a lot of things were
Yeah.
always just up in the air, especially with the open ocean shipments and stuff like that. So that's why we just put our heads down to it and decided we have to make these ourselves now to get them out of the door.
Yeah.
So when our Kickstarter ended, we continued to amass a lot of pre-orders through our website. Different, influencers reached out, and YouTubers, and wanting to, demonstrate this phenomenon. There's a group we work closely with called Do Perfect, and they took it on a nationwide stage tour. And so, you know, it was just a lot of fun, and just so much happened in such a short time. Um, but we ended up, through the trenches of manufacturing ZipString on our own, developing a product, and, you know, the whole process of making this product, to something so much better. And that's what we have being manufactured overseas.
So how are you positioning the product? Because it's so out there. Like, it's obviously not something that's existed before. So are you kind of like, this is a toy similar to like a yo-yo or like a fidget spinner kind of thing, where like you can do tricks with it, but it can also just keep you entertained for a while? Or are you kind of positioning this in like a different light? Like, how are you kind of selling this to the consumer?
It's a great question, because it changes all the time. We kind of have this overall view of this is how we're selling it, but there's so many different demographics and audiences that will target ones at different times. So whether it's kids, and we're selling this as a toy that is can keep you busy for hours, because
It's a little babysitter. You give it to your kids, it holds their attention, right?
So because ZipString, that emulates movements, there's an unlimited possibility of shapes and tricks, and people come up with. So people will film their tricks and send it to us, and we'll name it, put it on the website. So there's that, but there's also a whole community that loves to take these to festivals and concerts and parties. And we have fluorescent string that glows to black light, and all kinds of stuff. So there's the whole audience where we'll target them, and they're buying them for their shows.
So you mentioned the fidget spinner, and you did mention the yo-yo, and from our perspective, I would definitely put this more toward the box of yo-yo type play, that kind of play style, because a fidget spinner is just like a little thing that spins in your hand. The ability to do tricks and the challenge of using longer strings is what makes the ZipString more akin to, more like a yo-yo,
like a skill-based toy.
So that's where you get where you can see somebody using this for an extended amount of time, is trying to master some trick, versus, oh, it just spins in my hand, looks cool, it's fidgety.
So so obviously your upsell opportunities there are different colored strings, longer strings, which I'm sure your costs are astronomical for stuff like that. But is there a plan for how you're going to expand the product line, or are you actually kind of going more wide and seeing what you can do to start to develop kind of that culture of people who are doing tricks with it and just expand the audience?
Great question, and I think the answer is both. We are expanding the classic version of ZipString, just as far as we can. But while we're doing that, we're coming up with new products, and this fall we'll launch our latest model, and we're careful to disclose all the details, but it is something, again, the world has never seen. And so Steven, we all love innovating, especially Steven, and so he is constantly making changes and tweaking and doing the product, while our other team and myself were handling more of the business and the marketing and the e-commerce side of things.
So to answer your question about expanding out the product line, we're gonna have a new product launching here soon, and then we'll have kind of some sister products,
Accessories.
accessories that are related to it. Like you said, different types of string, lengths, colors,
Yeah.
etc. Um, but like Austin's saying, there are always tweaks that you can do to optimize your product. Because I come at this from like the very much hardware engineering angle.
Mm-hmm.
Our newest version is going to have like 2 times faster charging. It's going to last for like half an hour longer than like holding it down and running it for like a straight run. Our zip strings will run for over an hour straight. This next version, we optimized that, so now it's going to run for like an hour and a half straight,
Nice.
like continuous runtime. So there are always like tweaks and other things from the product and that we're doing to make it that kind of expand out.
And to speak more on the, I know we're just kind of, sometimes I feel like we're just kind of rambling off on all kinds of things, but it's so exciting, because expanding, there's so many different ways you expand that, whether we're launching in different countries, or and this fall we launch in the big box stores this fall,
Oh,
and
nice.
so different distribution channels and all kinds of things there. So
You you obviously went the Shark Tank route as well. What was the thought behind doing that? How'd that whole experience go? Tell me a little bit about that.
it was a lot of fun. Just several months in ZipString, everyone's like saying you got to apply to Shark Tank and do that. So I just submitted the little 1-page application there.
You don't think much about it.
It's just
Yeah.
we're too busy for anything else, so just submitted it, done. Well, that was October 21. March of 22, we get a call from Shark Tank, and they say, "Hey, love your guys' product. We have a couple questions for you. Do you mind answering these?" And so I answer the questions. We're like, "Great. We want you to send in this big, a video kind of entry kind of thing." So we get back to them and say, our hands are so tied right now. Can we get this video back to y'all in a month? And because we were fulfilling our Kickstarter.
Yeah.
We were just trying to get product out of the door, and then Shark Tank is like, "Hey, give us this video.
Do all this work.
Yeah.
And so we told them reach back out to us in a month, and so they did. And then we asked, "Hey, 2 more weeks." And then in 2 more weeks, they reached back out to us, and we're like, 2 more weeks. Like we're almost there. And we weren't playing, hard to get or anything, but we really were just so, trying to get these Kickstarter orders out. And so again, they reached back in 2 more weeks, and we make the time to make this video. We sent it in, and they just keep sending us down the whole Shark Tank, funnel or process.
Yeah.
They send you producers, and you work with them, and then throughout the entire time, they never told us you're going on the show. You never have this confirmation that you're going on the show, but all of a sudden you'll have 2 tickets in your hand to LA, and like, well, I guess we're going on the show.
I mean, even after you shoot, you don't really have assurance that you're going to air either.
Yeah.
It's like, until I see it on national television with my own eyes, they keep you in limbo, kind of.
Also very true.
So once it did air, how were the results on the site? Did everything pick up from there?
Absolutely. It is a big bump. We had 200,000 people on the site that night. We sold out of our inventory airing on the East Coast within 5 minutes of it airing.
Yeah.
So to give you some context around that, by the time we filmed, we had received our inventory from overseas. That was the whole big dilemma that we were facing, and why we were so caught up with the Kickstarter. is because we were just trying to hold off this horde of customers who had pre-ordered and needed their product, and it was until we got our factory to produce everything that we were
We could
kind of in a
scale.
bind.
Yeah.
And so once we set that up, we got our product, got our inventory, and then I think it was maybe a week or two after is when we filmed Shark Tank. So by the time we aired, we already did have inventory.
Yeah.
So just to
That's good.
contextualize,
Clearly not enough inventory.
But, yeah.
no,
So you had a video go viral that picked up a lot of stuff. You did Kickstarter, that picked up a lot of stuff. Then you did Shark Tank, that picked up a lot of stuff. What's your marketing approach now? Are you kind of staying heavy on an influencer side? Are you doing social? Are you doing paid? Have you ventured into like Amazon or Walmart? Like how have you have stuff structured now?
So we not too long ago we launched in Walmart. We do a lot of paid media now, Facebook, Instagram ads, and I'd say a majority of the marketing and the budget goes into that right now. ZipString is such a demonstrable item that capturing people's attention. It does a really good job here.
Clearly.
And so we do a lot of paid media. Currently, we're learning more about kind of the paid influencer route, the kind of testing things like that. That's something still learning, but I know it's such a growing market, especially these days, and it's a lot of just expanding, to Walmart and the other big box stores and things like that, where a lot of our time and efforts are going towards.
Yeah,
we're always surprised how many people have seen ZipString, but we're also always surprised how many people haven't. And
Right.
so it does take trying to put yourself out there and getting exposure, like you're saying.
Yeah. And the nice thing about the product too is, kind of like you mentioned, it's so demonstrable. Like this thing could be anywhere and be purchased. I could see it at a toy store, obviously, but then it could very well be a grocery store or a drugstore, or it could be in a sports, like they're going to be all over the place. So it's one of those things where like there's so much you could do, from a sales channel and retail placement to marketing. It's kind of like that's where I always see is the biggest struggle is where do you focus for a while before you venture into other things and end up, spreading off way more than you can chew.
It's true. It's so true.
Yeah.
So we can show off the packaging. Speaking of,
Yeah.
So this is what the new retail packaging looks like.
So what you'll see on like a store shelf is all clear, and it shows very clearly, people using it. And we have QR codes we made sure to include, because it makes a difference being able to see a video versus, there's this string on a package. And then we have our other packaging, which is fulfilled like our
the non-retail, the small sleek box kind of a thing.
Smart. Is a majority of your revenue coming from retail or from D2C?
Right now, it's all D2C, and until this fall. And so
that'll change.
That'll change. Working with retail though it's a love-hate relationship. When you're working with the buyers, and it's sometimes it's their way or the highway.
Mhm.
Sometimes we play with ZipString. It's the only thing like it. We own the IP and everything, so what other road do you want to go? And so sometimes we can kind of play that game, but it is exhausting.
Yeah, it's a different beast.
It is a different beast. So we're very interested to see how it's going to play out this fall.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see how it plays out. And now I really want to see what's coming out in the fall. That obviously the show isn't important enough for you to tell us, which is fine. But
so
we'll keep an eye out for it. Austin, Steven, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I would love to give you guys the opportunity to let everyone know they can find out more about you and, of course, more about ZipString.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. Where ZipString.com, right?
Oh, sorry. I think you broke up there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Sorry about that. Where can we hear more about ZipString?
Oh, ZipString.com.
Okay.
Yeah, ZipString.com.
And now we have the official ZipString handle on Instagram.
This
Oh,
is
there
just
you go.
ZipString everywhere. You can find us.
Beautiful. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the show. Everybody else who tuned in, obviously, thank you. To the usual, to rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff on whichever podcast platform you prefer, or head over to ecommshow.com to check out all of our previous episodes. But as usual, I appreciate you all joining us, and we'll see you all next time. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to the E-Comm Show. Head over to ecommshow.com to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on the BlueTuskr YouTube channel. The E-Comm Show is brought to you by BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company specifically for e-commerce sellers looking to accelerate their growth. Go to BlueTuskr.com now for more information. Make sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of the E-Comm Show.